Man, I'm on this 303 baby timing, man. Hey, yo, Thriller, man, what we doing, gang? Hunters coming in, make sure that paper going all around. I ain't trying to hit, I know these.
And welcome to the National Meat Treasure Podcast with your host, Sasha, a.k.a. Tony Soprano. Why was that the first name to pop in my head? I haven't watched The Sopranos. I only watched it through once, and that was pretty recently, like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I remember your journey through that, actually.
Yeah,
that was
we covered it on the podcast a lot.
Oh, we did cover it, right? Yeah, the toxic masculinity is hysterical.
Oh, it's amazing. And that's what makes the show, like, top-notch, because it's so realistic. Like, that's exactly what they think all day. They're not smart people. They're not cool. They're just, they happen to do, like, whatever the fuck they want. So there's an appeal to that. That's really all it is, because... like some of the best scenes are when they're just being stupid. So it is your boy, Bobby Reno, getting murked in the trains. He was like, he had his little train city, right? And they just blew his brains out. God damn it.
I just love the one where
for you, this is like 20 years old. I hope you
Tony has an assassination attempt on his head because he lets it leak that his uncle eats pussy. Like that was best. Just
he let it leak that his uncle was a munch.
Yeah, that's what he said. He really did. Yo, this begs the question: Sopranos today is the theme song done by Ice Spice.
Is Ice Spice doing this? I hope so. I hope she is the remake.
You know what?
She I co-sign because that. She's not from Jersey.
Oh, myself a gun.
That's a fact.
Like, I don't know. Yeah. I can't rap like her. Like, but whoever can, someone do it in her voice. Or Ice Spice, if you're listening, do it in your own voice. Because I think the public's ready for it.
Ice Spice probably don't. She probably don't fuck with The Sopranos.
She probably does. She's like 30 years old
after the Sopranos came out.
It was over. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, not. Anyway, it's me. It's Joey Thriller from the 3. A.k.a. Joey from the National Meat Treasure Podcast. Bitch.
All right, so let's just start the podcast. Do you think your guys' moms were hoes at any stage in their life?
Yeah. I'm going to be real.
Very, very, rest in peace, Miss Cardona, but you said that was your mom's last name Cardona?
Yeah. That was her name. I actually got her last name.
That's fire.
So yeah, no, I absolutely do believe it. I mean, I'm the product of hoeing around a little bit. I'm a child out of wedlock, unwanted, the whole nine, in a club in Colombia. In a club in Colombia, that's who she found her and like avoided him like the plague. So, I think, yeah.
So, how old was your mom when you were conceived?
20.
Oh, samesies, bro.
Yeah.
There we go. Both our moms were hoes. Actually, I can't. Okay, so
we're exactly the same age.
I feel like
our moms are exactly the same age.
There you go. I think my mom. Here's my thing. I don't know that she would be defined as a hoe now. I feel like, I don't know, but me and my mom didn't talk a lot, right? So I don't really know a lot about her sexual history. I will never have that information, God willing. But I do remember so many nights, and I want to say like at least once a month in my teens, she would go out. No, I would say she would probably go out twice a month in my teens. And at least one of those nights, she would stay out till the morning. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really, like, in my teens, I was like, cool, I get to play video games till 3 a.m. As an adult, now that I'm her age, that I back then, I'm just kind of like, oh, she was thotting. She was.
What your mom had was a carnal. Your mom had a carnal desire. Okay, that's what we called it back in the early 2000s. Okay, she got her groove back, and she needed to express herself. I'm trying to think of all the black female movies during that time about sex, but it's not a lot that run through my mind. She's all that. Stella got her groove back.
Classic. You said that one.
Two can play that game is not really sex based, but it is sexy.
So yeah.
You started with she got her groove back, but is it her thoughting or was she just is that just self care?
Okay, hold on.
Is that just self
Hold
Okay,
on.
you know
Hold
what? I would argue that it is self-harm because she wasn't good to me. You know, if she was getting dick
facts.
on, you know what I mean? If she was getting, because there was nights where
She was
like
just
she would
mellowing
come
out.
home. Well, there was nights where she would come home like after I was asleep, and then she would wake up in the morning screaming at me to go get her a coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. So it's like, you know, I don't think there was a lot of healing, and
No.
I don't know how many men there were or weren't. We don't know, but I mean, I know I didn't meet a ton of boyfriends back then. And I know when she did have the boyfriends, she typically I was made aware. Oh, I wonder what her process was for that. Like, I remember one boyfriend, some ugly light skinned motherfucker. My mom was fine back in the day, so the fact that she downgraded for that. But he looked like a bald Gallagher, but light skinned.
Black Gallagher?
He looked like Mario, dude. Like just bald with like a mustache, like a big. He looked like Drake's dad, but fat.
Maybe he was funny.
Holy shit, that's a good. Wow, that's terrible. So your mom dated Carl Winslow, but like,
Yes, he was a light skinned Carl
Yeah.
Winslow, exactly.
yeah, there we go.
Damn.
Damn.
So wait. Now I have to. Now it's like I wonder.
Carl Winslow was a
my
good
mom-
father, though.
Your mom never had a hoe phase. You don't think?
Wait, no, I just
Listen
said
to this. Hold on.
Carl
We're gonna
Winslow
omit it.
was a good father. But yeah, no, my parents both listen to this podcast occasionally, so I will just not even broach.
You know what? We're gonna let him step out of that question. Respect to you, Miss.
But also
Miss
knowing my
Hurtado.
mom, I don't really think so. Like, I don't really think so. She's like,
Well, you know what? Why don't we get your mom on the pod and have her answer?
yeah. She loves to talk.
That'd be great. Just
should get her to start
Could
her
you
own
imagine your
podcast.
mom telling 45 minutes of sex stories from
live
like a-
live
that's
on
like
the podcast? Live on a podcast? Bro, that sounds like a form of torture. Like,
Meanwhile, I'm editing it bricked up.
like, no, tell me more. Tell me more.
I just imagine your mom is hot for some reason. I've never seen your mom.
She's good looking. She's good looking.
No, my mom is actually super beautiful. She takes really, really good care of herself. Everyone who meets my mom tells me, "Oh my God, your mom is so beautiful," so on and so forth.
Definitely is.
It's crazy because I work in a public retail place, and I meet a lot of people of a lot of ages. And there have been a lot of women who have told me their ages, that look like they're on the precipice of passing over and transitioning to the next life, who are younger than my mom. So
39.
I'm
like
damn,
dying at
he's.
the grocery store.
She's like, yeah, like this is what I look for. I'm only 55. I'm like, you're only 55? That's crazy. My mom is 60 and she looks amazing. Like, no one believes she's 60.
She's got that
good
Barbara
hair.
Walters in her.
Bless her.
Yeah.
Bless her. Bless
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
Bless her soul. Right there. Bless that lady. On the topic
Thank
of
you.
mothers, I think we should all think at least once in our lives about how your mom definitely throated somebody. And
You know what, though?
probably
Here's the thing.
throated somebody, probably throated your dad, realistically, and then you woke
be
up in the
fair.
middle of the night and she kissed you right after she throated dad because she was just like trying to console you. And she went, "It's okay, honey." But in this whole time, you got dick on your forehead now.
Wow.
I'm gonna say I don't have that experience for two reasons.
Are such a liar.
Nah,
bro.
he's not lying. He's not lying.
No, I'm not lying
not
for two
lying.
reasons. One reason, personal, being that my mom did not console me ever. My mom was not a loving mother. She did not.
I saw that coming.
I do not remember a kiss. I remember, like, I definitely remember one night, like, waking up being like, "Oh, I had a nightmare," and her being like, "Go the fuck back to sleep." Like,
She made your dinner after grabbing somebody's dick at one point, okay? Like, I'm just telling you.
She fully stopped cooking. Maybe not when I was young. Like when I was like 14, she's like stopped cooking entirely.
Okay, exactly.
So no, I didn't. And two, on a less personal reason, you got to remember, our moms were moms of the 80s. I feel like there was probably not only a massive movement of women not sucking dick, but also a massive movement of men who wouldn't respect you if you did suck dick. I've heard guys say that like I would never let my. I've heard guys say like old guys. I've heard this before. Old guys saying that like I would never let my wife suck my dick. That's for whores. I've heard like guys my mom's age say that.
Oh my God!
Can you imagine?
What misery! What misery! I'm so grateful and so blessed in this moment not to have that frame of thinking.
This is the timeline that we needed to be living in, because if I couldn't expect, like, if I couldn't, like, at least get a little sloppy toppy every, I mean, honestly, it happens a lot, but if it wasn't going to be something that I could experience even 6 months, I would be upset. You're talking about like me not looking at my wife and saying that's for like whores. Like, what do you know what whores do?
You don't remember like the sitcom trope of like women saying that like that was reserved for birthdays?
Ugh, so sad.
Anal's reserved for birthdays. That's what changed. Now it's like,
because back then guys weren't having anal because they thought anal was gay.
They didn't think it was gay. They just didn't think it was it was like possible. It's like it's you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know, like the technology hadn't caught up with butthole like exploration. Like, we had figured out like if we put things in there and, you know, over time it stretches, but now we got numbing gels, we've got butt plugs of all kinds of millimeters and diameters and sizes. But then it was just like Kevin's fist fits in my ass, and that's the only, like, are you Kevin's fist size? Like, is that like that can work? Anything bigger is just too much, really.
I just don't know, man. I feel like my mom was.
How did we get here?
I think there's a decent chance that let's keep it real. Our parents were not having the fulfilling sex lives that we are having now. They just weren't. I
think that's a false narrative. Think about it.
I also believe that's a false narrative, because maybe I know my dad.
Because let's also be real.
You know how I know?
Here's
you know
the
how
difference.
I know? Because the sex I was having in 2010 versus the sex in 2020. Well, I haven't had sex this year, but 2022, miles apart. Miles.
Can I tell you something?
The sex I was having in 2015 versus 2022.
Okay.
You know, this just speaks to.
Interesting.
Here we go. Common thread.
Excuse me, a question.
White supremacy has done this to you. You know why? Because they have suppressed your sexuality to a point where Latinos didn't feel as repressed, because we were doing all kinds of funky shit. Southeast Asian Indians literally came up with a book that shows you how to fucking different ways, and like in the best fucking way to enjoy your partner, and sometimes even adding people in there. I mean, the Greeks would literally have orgies. Like, this is a false narrative. What happened was
no. I'm gonna push back. I'm going to push back on Hispanic. I'm going to push back on Hispanic. And I know this is white supremacy, but let's be real here. Reggaeton was banned by the government because it was too sexual. All right. When it dropped, reggaeton was the government was saying, fuck this. So I'm sure there was a large body of people who were agreeing with the government.
I want citations. What government? Cuba?
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico's not listen, they weren't gonna, like, a state can't just ban music. It doesn't work like that. And all they did was
rallies
just like
against it. There was like Christian rallies against it in PR.
There was rallies against Elvis, and Elvis is literally now known as the best artist that has ever existed.
Listen, we're talking about reggaeton right now. We're not talking about Elvis, okay? This is a real thing.
Yankee was a revolutionary. How about that,
Y'all
bro?
niggas have lost me.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's where it is, bro.
Like, I am fucking lost. Niggas went for So you're saying because
we've gone a few.
You're saying sex
ahead.
You're saying that the sex that we've had today, as men in our 30s in this day and age in the 2020s, has only existed up until this point and did not exist in the 80s.
Bro, like 70s porn?
I wouldn't say it didn't exist, but I was saying that like you could watch porn, dude. Like, and I know porn's not like a great example, but like watch a porn from like 2005, the way she's sucking it, and the same star in 2015 or 2017. I'm saying the sex we have is not new, right? We're not revolutionaries for eating ass, but I'm saying it wasn't as commonplace as it is today.
I just thought about like, you know, us entering into the next exploration, ass eating. What's after ass eating? Honestly, like what else do we get?
99. I
Ass
think
eating
pegging
99
is going to become commonplace in the next 10 years.
That's it, right?
Probably.
Like, yeah. There's gonna be like special things you get with your partner. Yeah, I like it.
Could you imagine, like, you're a single man, you go over to a girl's place for the first time, and you like see her strap on in the bathroom, and you're like, I didn't know you were bi, and she's like, I'm not.
Disappointment.
Disappointment.
And she just pulls an ointment and a separate strap out of the drawer. She's like, I'm not. What's up? We doing this or what?
Oh God.
Exit stage left.
Yeah. No.
You exited stage left?
Yeah, we're exiting.
Nah, I'm
stage
gonna just
left.
tell her, nah, we're not doing that, and then we're gonna do something else.
I'm gonna say that's like third date activities. I don't know if that's first date.
Hold on, you wouldn't admit that you took a blue
This
chew.
nigga said he gonna let her hit on the third date.
A strap on the third date. You piece of shit. You know, fuck you.
Listen,
fuck this guy.
Listen,
yo, everyone.
I'll take it. All right, like
Abandon
I
this
talked
boy.
about this before, but I did see one. I'm gonna start saying cornos just so I don't have to bleep it out when I'm editing. But I did see one corno where the churning. The guy was in missionary, and the chick was slamming him, and then she was just churning his beef. And I was like, yo, that looks kind of lavish. And you know how you know it was lavish?
Right.
You know how you know it was lavish? Because I didn't search for that. That was like the third video on the homepage. so people saw this and were like,
they agreed.
The algorithm pushed it out because people were like fascinated.
Wonderful. You know what?
You're not taking a strap? So if your wife comes to you right now and says, from your wife?
Yeah. We can define what we don't want to do.
I don't have any desires. For
I don't think my wife has any desire either. I mean, we've talked about it like openly, like what we would be comfortable with, and she's not interested, and I'm not interested. So why can't we be okay with?
Yeah, I'm saying if today she was interested strongly, I feel like you'd cave in under a year.
Under a year? I don't know.
If she was asking if the love of your life is asking you multiple times.
I don't know, because with the way I eat, like with the way I eat and the way certain things affect me, and I eat mad weird shit sometimes, like I'm just never in a position where that's gonna be comfortable.
That fried chili is coming right out your ass.
You feel me? Like I love burritos. You know, it's like
okay, but like you wouldn't fast for 24 hours for your wife?
No,
I'm not saying that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe
Jesus,
if that was
why
necessary.
would I fast for my like? Oh,
did Jesus ask you to fast?
Yeah, he said fuck Lent.
Ramadan?
No, there's fasting during Christianity, but not completely fasting.
It's not
like
complete
Lent.
fast.
You know, you don't eat.
I'm a hell child.
Fridays.
I have no idea, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't want.
Caving for your wives.
I don't want anything in my butt. Like,
keep in mind,
I'm okay.
If your wives want this, they have the rest of their lives to convince you. Your wives are not going anywhere forever. So
they
haven't eventually.
They haven't started making the case. They haven't started making the case though. So you know they.
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
they have not started.
Yeah, wait till they hear this episode.
I'm gonna say the conversation with my wife has mirrored what Christian said. It was like, we discuss what's comfortable and not comfortable. Like you don't want that, I don't want that. We're doesn't.
All right,
we don't do Christian method. You know, like we
I was
don't.
telling someone recently. Somebody I know was having some relationship issues recently, and they were saying they didn't feel the same as when they got with this person, and the years have dragged on. And I was like, this is a recession, like this is a low point, like you dedicated your life to this person, don't just tap out now because you're having a rough year. And with that being said, don't just tap out on getting fucked by your wife because she said a year ago that like this isn't her thing. It might be at some point. And I do have a point I can make, Christian, but I'm not going to say it on pod. In your personal life that I cannot mention?
It is
Chill
locked
out.
for
Chill
now.
out.
It is locked for now.
Chill out.
We ain't exposing people. We ain't doing things like that. But I will say, I don't really know anymore. But it's still not something. I don't know. I mean, we literally have talked about it though, like just like not doing it and not being interested personally.
What if that's the thing, right? Like I said earlier, how like there's those old guys who were like, I would never let my wife suck my dick. That's only for whores. What if girls were like, I would never peg my husband. It's only for sluts on the street.
Bro,
like they get married and throw their strap on away.
A connection of ours, actually a mutual friendship of ours, they do have a relationship that involves the strap, and that person in that marriage, it's open, right, so that they can so the wife
they can get strapped from a bunch of places.
Well, so here's what happened. Just to explain the logic. So essentially, the two married couple. They're doing their thing with the strap. The woman, the wife, gets another partner, but they're only doing something together, and they're both women, right? Somehow, the other woman in this equation says, "I would never let my husband do that. That's for gay people." Like, and I was just like, "You literally ate pussy." Like right before saying that.
Well, wait a minute.
Like, you definitely used the strap. Stop. That's how you gonna call that person like derogatory, like ew. Can you believe
you know
it?
What's gotta be
Takes it up the ass.
You know what's gotta be super awkward? If you're like, listen, we don't kink shame here. I gotta preface this by saying I do not kink shame friend to the LGBT and beyond, whatever. But it has to be super awkward if you are a straight man who enjoys pegging and you get to the point where you have to size up. Like you have to really go like this joint I started with ain't really hitting the same. We need a bigger one.
That's why they have those like fucking little they start out little. It's like these gauge, almost kind of like, they're not needles, they're like rounded steel rods, exactly. And they put it in the urethra of the penis, and it just gets bigger and bigger because you're continuing to push yourself. It's a really terrifying idea.
I don't want to do this. This is terrifying idea. A steel rod in your urethra versus like buying a bigger dildo to put in your ass. What if it's the point where it's bigger than you for you to feel something? That's got to be inadequate. That's got to be a dark time for yourself. If you're buying strap-ons bigger than you to fuck your own ass. Now you're just like, I'm not doing shit to my wife's ass. If you are, in fact, fucking your wife in the ass. If you have to get pegged, come on the pod.
Wow.
We need to some peg talk on here. I feel like men who like to get pegged they're a very underrepresented group. They definitely need to come forward and talk about it, because that's what this pod is all about. It's all about opening minds and opening hearts and opening assholes. So, we need to get you out there in the mainstream.
I'm with it.
Oh shit!
Your eyes have not blinked in like 45 seconds.
I'm with.
I don't hear
the
Sasha.
whole. Oh, you don't hear us? Where'd you go?
I hear you.
You don't hear me?
I hear you. I hear everybody. Actually, I hear myself. Whoa.
Yo, well, I'm gonna keep talking while Joey figures out his technical difficulties.
It's true. I am. I don't know, man. What if we get to that future where everyone's just like pegging is a second date activity?
Wow.
I feel like that's powerful. Like if your partner had carte blanche.
You know how I know we're getting to that future? I know we're getting to that future because I said third date and you said second. We're getting closer as time passes,
I know.
my friend. we're getting hotter and hotter as the minutes go by.
6
more
months
motherfuckers are getting out there getting stroked.
Getting their butter churned. Oh my god. That is still one of the funniest images. I mean, like, that's a very specific way to have sex. So for you to find that out, like, I'm always curious how people find shit out. Like, do you just see somebody do it at one point? Like, or what happens? Like, how does the first person ever to do it figure that shit out? You know what I'm saying?
Like, the first person who got the strap on?
No, anything,
got the-
anything, right? Like all of us, okay, right? Tombstone Piledriver 69. Like, who's the person that figured that out? Was like, this is awesome, and then somebody saw it and kept doing it until
Right.
there's more people doing it. Like, who's the first person who found out getting your dick sucked was amazing? Who's the first person who got a facial? Who's the first person who swallowed? Like all this stuff.
I feel like the
Was it all the
dick
same
sucking
person?
and getting a facial, those are things that could spread. Like, I mean, that people could have come up with on their own.
Like
oh my
unga
God, I'm just
bunga,
gonna-
wogga wogga.
Yeah. Like, it could have just naturally happened. But I would want to know who's the first person to be like, yo, bro, this is going to sound crazy, but let her put the strap in you, spread your legs, and then let her, churn your butter. Like,
It started out.
Who told
it started
that?
with a finger.
Like, who-
It started with a finger. It
Started
started
with
with
a
a
finger.
finger, bro. It
The
started with a
golden
finger.
finger.
I feel like we.
Started-
I feel like we all heard that at one point, right? Like at one point in our youth, like somebody talking about like girls wanting to put a finger in somebody's butt during like head. I felt like that was something that naturally started getting into the lexicon, and we went from finger to a couple fingers to tongues, and now we have straps.
You know what I feel like? I feel like
Evolution.
sexual progress is not
Charles
linear.
Darwin.
I feel like what happens is people fuck a certain way, then it becomes like taboo to do that for a couple hundred years, then people do it again because it's taboo, and then it becomes taboo again, and then people do it again because it's taboo. It's just like an upward, downward cycle based on like region. I mean, we always hear about like,
Okay.
like
I
the
get what you mean.
Spartans and the Greeks having like orgies. Like that was regular in their society to just fuck in great numbers amongst many sexes and ages because it was weird
And sometimes
back then.
just the same sex. And sometimes just the same sex. Sometimes it was just a bunch of dudes jerking and fucking each other.
Then Rome fell, and they were like, oh, it fell because God took it down because they were having too much sex, and then people in the Eastern world didn't do it for a while, then they did. So it's really like a question of like who started what in which region at which time. I personally feel like in America,
Basically the same damn question, bro. Let's shut up. Like,
no.
Somebody did it
Because you were saying
Somebody
what
did
was
it
the first? What was the first time to happen for this? And it's like there was millions of first times throughout the centuries.
You literally just like TikTok, like spun that, like, one of those influencer types, kind of like, hey, I found you a secret formula. Like, you literally just spun my whole shit. Like,
Listen, I'm trying to open up your mind, bro. So it's like you got to ask like a more specific question, like who was the first black guy to take a peg in America? What year do you think that happened?
Ariel Spears, obviously. That's
Aries Spears? Just on the set of Mad TV getting his back blown out.
I have no reason or any facts for that, but that's just something I'm going to start today. Joe Budden
So
was there. He documented.
we're starting the rumor that Aries Spears was the first man to take a strap on consensually in America.
And Godfrey was doing an impression outside.
So who was he taking the strap from?
Ice Cube, obviously.
Dude, actually, you know what? This actually brings me to something
don't put that on
I always
Ice
think
Cube.
about. Like people on TV shows fucking.
Probably
Like,
kill me,
'cause
right?
I've been recently rewatching The Fresh Prince, and I'm like, I wonder like who in the cast Will fucked or Alfonso Ribeiro fucked. But like now that we bring up Matt TV, that has to be the ugliest cast of people in all of television history.
Ugliest. The
That is
ugliest.
some. I hope none of them were fucking because
Those-
that is some.
They're
But
like,
see, there's
like
a
bargain
phenomenon. There's a phenomenon of when you work with people, when you're around people all the time, eventually they can become either attractive or unattractive.
as a group.
Like, yeah, when you're just around people, like you start to see them differently as you get to know who they are. So even though they may have all been quote unquote ugly, it might have gotten hot and heavy in some of those small circles.
Stewart is like literally the guy who plays Stewart is one of the ugliest humans in the world. Like his rubber
He's
face.
tall as shit though. His dick is probably like
He's probably way long, but like he just looks stupid. Like, can you imagine just like like he just looks
Getting
like
pile
he looks
drive
like
by him?
Lurch. He looks like Lurch, just like you get in your
Damn.
back. blown
I'm
out.
pretty sure if I walked in the room with Aries Spears and Bobby Lee, both people who are infinitely richer than I am currently, I would still leave the room with something and they wouldn't. Like, they would get curved in lieu of me. There's no way somebody's taking out Bobby Lee over me.
I love that. I love that. It's not wrong. I don't think it's wrong.
Not really.
And you know what it is? They're all ugly and they're creepy too. Like, none of them are cool people. Like, after Mad TV, they've all done some weird shit. I heard Bobby Lee had sex with a 13-year-old in Tijuana.
Whoa. You
didn't hear this thing? Go to Bobby Lee's comments on TikTok.
No.
Oof.
Absolutely not.
Lord.
Absolutely not. He confessed to on the pod that he like hooked up with like a 13-year-old or 14-year-old in Tijuana. I don't know how old he was at the time. Maybe let's just pretend 20s, because I mean he wasn't famous until then. But
he definitely wasn't.
They're all like ugly and they're all weirdos. I don't want to imagine any of them having sex. This is a very deep cut. You know, how long ago did Mad TV end?
At least 20 years ago. Well, Key and Peele was, I think, were like the last so it must have been like, I think they had like a revival around 07 or something like that.
Let's look it up.
I don't know where the fuck I
never watched Mad TV too much. Like, I watched it because like I didn't have, these were my options as a kid. But it really made me uncomfortable. 2009 it ended apparently.
See?
That's really late. I feel like it ended way earlier than that.
Well, the first iteration did. It actually got canceled, and then they got picked up again like a few years later. Yeah,
that's. I don't. Like, yeah, I'm not going through the whole cast. I think Jordan Peele was on it. I don't remember that. Oh,
yeah,
that must have
Key
been
and
the
Peele
revival.
were the last cast, and they actually. That's why they did the Key and Peele show, because they felt so disrespected by Mad TV at the end of it, because they really apparently cared about it, wanted to like keep it alive. And they just kept pigeonholing them and making them feel goofy. And that's what gave the birth to their famous Key and Peele show, which is a classic. If you haven't watched it, I suggest even rewatching it, because it's actually gold.
I love Key and Peele, but there's a lot of it that's really not funny.
Is it?
I've never really watched Key and Peele because the skits are all viral and none of them were funny. They were all like really, really cheesy. Like not necessarily lowbrow, but like lowbrow black. You know what I mean? Like the skit where he does like all the football player names. Aquarius Miles. I was like, this shit
went on for way too long.
Yeah,
there's like 3 parts to that fucking skit.
All the jokes were like supposed to be funny. There were jokes made by black guys to make white people laugh, and I guess it worked because they went on to do bigger and better things. But there's just certain things that they're made for white people. Also, it's crazy that of the original cast, I'm pretty sure Phil Lamar is the best looking one, which is crazy because he looks crazy. He looks like a zombie.
You know what's
Obama.
Even crazy? You know what's even crazy?
Fuck.
He just looks like zombie.
Nah, chill, son.
Tell me not. Look up Phil Lamar right now. He looks like a zombie Obama. He looks like Obama as an extra in The Walking Dead.
Oh no!
Think about
and he's the best looking person on that cast, or on the original cast.
Yo, Mad TV was mad funny back in the day. I remember them doing a skit about fucking Saturn cars. Like, remember Saturn had that stupid slogan, like, you're in the Saturn family? They did a skit about that, and it was like mad dumb, but it was like really funny at the time.
Dude,
because I was
I get it. Mad TV was I loved Mad Magazine when I was a kid, so I'm like aging myself really crazy. You know, like I remember getting my first Mad Magazine and my mom like flipping the fuck out because I figured out that when you fold one page, it was actually somebody who was injecting themselves with heroin. And my mom saw that and she's like, what the fuck? Like hit the roof, like just wanted to kill me. So I have a special relationship with Mad. I get Mad TV has the ugliest people on the earth, but it was funny shit.
I don't know.
They were
Everybody's
making fun of like
somebody.
Big Pants. Like they were talking about like Big Pants, and like the dude like went to like the Big and Tall, and he got the biggest pants possible, and he literally like just steps into it and opens a zipper. Like classic. It's just what else can you?
I'll have to check it out again, but I remember as a kid it made me very uncomfortable. But
yeah,
in terms of Fox shows, King of the Hill was not my shit as a kid, and then when I grew up, I saw it when I was like 25, and I was like, oh, this is hysterical.
Same. King of the Hill is mad funny.
King of the Hill is to quote my boy Gas, because
King of the Hill is gas.
it is really, it's one of the, like, I don't care what you say. If you do revisit it today and you watch it under any lens, under any time, it works. It is fucking funny. Because people are still that, like, they're simple. They're not fucking anymore. Like, you're just worried about your dumb son, and you're worried about your dumb wife, and you're worried about your dumb mortgage, and you're worried about your dumb job. Like, it's the perfect equation. I love that show. Literally love that show. You want to know a crazier fact, though? Phil Lamar. You remember him being in Metal Gear Solid?
He was in Metal Gear Solid?
Metal Gear Solid.
He was Vamp. Do you remember Vamp?
I haven't played Metal Gear Solid in a long time.
Yeah, Vamp was like so cool, and he was like openly bisexual. He was in Metal Gear Solid 2. Did you guys play that? Did anyone else play that?
I never played Metal Gear Solid at all.
What? What? Yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead ass.
We already know Joey is not a gamer.
But not
so like
not
when
any of them?
Also, can we just shout out to the artist Sir? Because he has a song called John Redcorn about being the other man.
Yo, I mean, John Redcorn is so fucking cool. Like, he's in a metal band. He's probably got like the biggest red cock you've ever seen in your entire life. And are we
allowed to call them red? I don't think that's PC.
I don't think that's for true.
You know what?
In the show, he is actually painted auburn. So
he's literally he literally looks like terracotta. Like he's like the same color. Like
he's a nice brick in the show.
Yeah,
but yeah, the R&B singer Sir has a song called John Redcorn where he's basically talking about like he's the other man, and he's like, damn, I should have like not fuck with you because I really want to be with you, but like you got a whole husband, and the song is called John Redcorn.
Yeah, you know, that's the tragic story about John Redcorn. Do you remember when he's like depressed because she like cut the relationship off with him, and like he was like drinking himself to death? Like, what a good show. What a good fucking show. What? This is your sign.
I gotta re-up on that. I've taken a break from podcasts recently. I usually listen to podcasts when I'm at work, but I've taken a break because I hate other people's thoughts. I'm also taking a little TikTok break because like I'm just very burnt out in a lot of aspects, but like hearing other people's thoughts and bullshit, and I just can't deal with it right now. So I've just been rewatching old TV and Family Guy to just numb myself to heal. Family Guy to heal. Also, can we just shout the fuck out to Family Guy? Did we talk about this already?
Yeah,
because they're like
a couple times.
Just how they're like their change, like all their jokes were offensive the first like fucking 12 seasons, and I've been like watching like binging it recently, and like they've definitely like their jokes are more niche now, but I mean they've always been pretty niche, like weird 80s references, but like they've leaned more into that, and I have not been offended once.
Yeah, you
which
know
is
what?
Crazy for watching Family Guy.
The Simpsons have done that also. Like, if you pay attention to like the way they spoke about people, like, you know, admittedly,
nobody's watching The Simpsons in 2023.
Everybody's still not everybody.
Simpsons,
okay, a good. It's still something people are watching. You listen. You don't understand Disney Plus numbers. Then, like,
I just feel like Disney has so much money, they're just pumping it into it without looking at the numbers. Because I have not heard hide or hair of Simpsons until like I remember there was like 5 years where I thought The Simpsons was over because no one talked about it, and then I got Disney Plus, and I was like, this has been going on this whole time.
I need to talk about something on the pod. Your personal biome is your personal biome. It doesn't always exist.
Listen.
Everywhere else.
Okay,
you
but listen.
Let me experience. Let's say that you curate.
Mr. Echo Chamber. Mr. Echo Chamber.
I do curate my internet experiences. However, Walking Dead, never watched it, heard of it. I knew it was going on. Game of Thrones, didn't watch till season 6. I knew it was going on. Simpsons was everywhere when I was growing up. Everywhere. When we were kids.
It's ubiquitous.
Bart was in like 60 commercials.
I was Bart Simpson like 3 times in a row. Mostly because we were
as of recently, like I have not heard hide or hair of The Simpsons. I just think
fuck is hide or hair? Who
you've never heard that phrase?
Have you heard that phrase?
I haven't. I have not.
Thank you.
That's because neither of y'all niggas read, all right? Why don't you pick up Catcher in the Rye, you plebeians?
I fucking hate that book, bro.
Neither hide or hair. You said that like 3 times already. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Just, like you're from.
He said, "Did you catch that I said hide or hair? Did you catch that? Because I said hide or hair.
I did say it.
Neither
Hide nor hair. All right.
No
Oh,
hair.
my fault.
Oh,
My fault, King. My fault, King.
Holy shit. Excuse you, King Elizabeth over here. I'm just gonna like.
King Elizabeth.
Excuse you, nor. Fuck you.
I thought The Simpsons was in, like, just at this point so much embedded into pop culture's lexicon that it doesn't need to be really spoken, that it is still a thing. You know, that's the impression I was under.
Listen, I didn't even know Family Guy was
like
still
Thrillah.
running either. And the fact that you just told me their jokes have gotten to the point where they don't feel offensive, I'm impressed. I'm going to start watching as well.
Well, I did not know Family Guy was running either until that latest TikTok trend,
What's
where it's like, so have you been on TikTok where people do the thing where like one side of the screen will be like a stand-up comedy and the other side will be like somebody playing some like niche computer game?
No.
You've not
I've
seen
not
this?
seen that.
This is like
No.
most of my feed. This has like been talked about. People are like really like, basically what will happen is somebody will post a TikTok and it'll just be a split screen where one thing is happening on one side. It could be stand-up comedy, it could be, you know, just a rant or whatever, and the other side of the screen will be like, you know, one of those like satisfying things like somebody like scraping the soap off, or
Right.
like playing like that game with the ping pong kind of shit.
Okay.
So, but the most prevalent one is Family Guy clips, and then these little games on the bottom. And then I'm seeing all these Family Guy clips, and I was like, I haven't seen a bunch of these. Is Family Guy still on? And then I checked Hulu, and I was like, oh shit, 19 seasons. I don't know where was the last one I saw. I think the last one I saw was like 15 or 13.
Yeah.
So I just binged it.
You
at
still got
work
to put
the other day.
respect. You got to still put respect on the Simpsons name because they've been around for like over 30 seasons. They're literally older than us. Like,
Right.
Oh, I'll put respect on it. I just didn't know it was still a thing.
it
I
is
watched
supposed to be.
one episode, or a couple episodes, I want to say just before the pandemic, because I found out it was a thing, and I was like, something about this rubs me the wrong way. Like, the humor was very different. The animation's too sharp. I'm used to that 90s gritty animation, so it wasn't doing it for me. Like, Lisa was weird. I don't know. It was like The Simpsons was trying to have like modern jokes, and I just didn't.
Right.
I didn't vibe with
I mean, yeah, it can't work forever. Like, it won't always apply.
Yeah,
Is it the longest running TV show?
Yeah.
What is the longest running sitcom?
It is The Simpsons.
Because I know like the Late Show and stuff, those are forever. But let's see, longest running sitcom. If it'll even bring up 10 longest running live action. Why do you have to specify that? The 20 longest running TV sitcoms. Well, Simpsons is on the list for sure. Friends was on for 10 years. Married with Children was 10 years. What a throwback.
Wow. Love.
I have not fucked with Married with Children in forever.
Love and marriage.
Frasier was on for 11 years. I definitely binged Frasier like 4 years ago. It did not seem like 11 years worth of series. That was probably the weirdest thing I did as a kid. I watched Frasier a lot when I was young.
So did I. Why did we all get drawn into Frasier at the same time? Bro, it didn't make sense. Like, I would like tossed salad and scrambled egg.
The
Like,
legs
I'd be
were
like,
coming again.
I'm like, my man, Frasier, you tell him about sex advice, yeah. Like this weird guy with his weird voice, and it was a very strange show for me to want to watch. But you know, I really liked it. I don't know why we all liked it at that same time either.
I just like the way that the cadence in which they speak.
Yeah,
that was really just my vibe.
Not one punch was thrown.
I don't think I heard like a British accent,
Not one punch
like,
was thrown.
and until that point in my life.
Yeah, it's
wow.
Is it a British accent? Is it considered a British
Or
accent?
like that? It's not British.
It's an Atlantic accent. It's
That socialite.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you know, it's my mother. She lives on the Long Island Sound. Yes, like kind of like that. It's because of a lot of like a lot of them mating with the same cousins, like over the years,
Yeah.
have just dated Jeffries. Like, it's
Please do that for 45 minutes.
you're welcome. Yes. It's one of my favorite voices. Along with that, get away, she. Get in the car right now. And have all the money. Cab is on the way. Like, it's yeah, she. And you gotta, I was talking about that with my wife about that gangster voice, and like, why did we all get forced to watch that in Looney Tunes? Like, we all had to watch Looney Tunes, and we just had to know about these gangsters just being terrifying. Like, it was just ubiquitous. It was all over the place. We just knew it. Get over here. Yeah, and
I'm more curious about the hats than the voices. Like, why are you committing like violent crimes in a bowler hat? Like, why was that like the symbol of terror in the 1920s?
Imagine you're out you're out on the night of the town. You're seeing some ladies like ankles. You're finally getting to the saloon, and then you see a couple of bowler hats together. You gotta avoid the place. Like, you gotta walk away because you're not bowler type energy. Like, that's not what you're out there for tonight. You are at best a straw hat energy. You're not trying to do that. You're not trying to mess with a bowler.
Just like a bowler hat and a pinstripe suit, and you're pissing yourself.
It's like black Air Force ones, but definitely. It's like you're just like, oh no, you know what? Never mind. Like, you see somebody's do-rag like not tucked, and like you got to walk out the club like immediately because you know that's a person with reckless abandon. So you need to leave, sir, because they're gonna air that bitch out in like 5 minutes. I'm sorry.
Could you imagine like
somebody?
Could you imagine like you're about to go like murder a dock worker and steal all the goods, but you got to shine your shoes first?
Gotta make sure I'm respectful on the street.
From the boy in the corner, see?
Right before I murder.
Before I go end some innocent lives.
It's probably this boy's father, and then I'm gonna influence him and make him a gangster too. Like, it's great.
Actually? I should watch that movie. What's that movie? I need a movie to watch at work. What's that movie that was it Johnny Depp where he was like a mobster? Is it Peaky Blinders? I'm thinking of?
Are you talking about Donnie Brasco?
Am I?
Peaky Blinders.
I need like an old school mobster movie now. We do his voice entirely too much for me to not watch. Is it Donnie Brasco?
Oh, you're talking about
Italian Mob.
No, you're talking about the Untouchables. The Untouchables. Yes.
That's with
they're trying to capture
Al Capone.
Al Capone. Correct. There you go.
And that's Robert De Niro.
Yes, and who else is playing?
Isn't there another one with Johnny Depp?
The other guy.
Johnny Depp plays in Donnie Brasco. He plays an FBI agent that goes undercover in the Italian mob, the New York Italian mob specifically, and it's like a big fucking thing. It was a real story.
Let's see, where is this on HBO Max? Let's see if I can watch this.
That's where everybody learned.
Yeah, it was a Fugazi.
How to watch and stream The Untouchables
I don't know how to tell you.
on Roku.
Those times a Fugazi.
Yeah, two different.
Oh wait, no, there's an Untouchable. All right, so you're the TV guy, so you gotta fill me in because there's an original Untouchables movie in '87. Who was in that? Let's see this one.
Robert De Niro.
That's the one we're talking about.
And then
De Niro was in '87. That old fuck.
Yeah, bro. What?
That's the year I was born.
Yeah.
I don't listen. I have not. Don't shoot the message. I have not watched a movie, like legitimately sat down and watched a movie in probably all year. No, the last movie I watched was the Buzz Lightyear film.
That shit was hard, like, what, bro.
Summer.
That shit was hard.
And before that, I don't even fucking remember.
Well, maybe like you need to get on that link I sent you because you could be watching anything you want. It's encrypted in your VPN. Have fun.
Yeah. Send me that again so I could save it in my notes. So Untouchables 87, HBO Max, and what is the one with Johnny Depp?
Donnie Brasco.
Donnie Brasco.
But that is a very different time
Hype.
period.
It's not. It's the 70s.
You're going from like the
30s into the 70s.
the 30s, yeah, into the 70s, like Italian Mob to fucking Chicago.
Okay, Donnie Brasco. Okay, I could have swore Johnny Depp was in like a 1930s mob film.
Are you talking about
Maybe you had mentioned
what's
Peaky
the other
Blinders, but
Leonardo
he's not in Peaky
DiCaprio and Gangs of New York? Are you talking about Gangs of New York?
No, I definitely know and love Gangs of New York. That movie is viciously racist.
Yo, that movie's
So
fucking
bad.
crazy.
It's hilarious. Now I'm just Googling Public Enemy. That's what I'm thinking of. Public Enemies.
Oh, isn't that when he plays? He plays.
It can't be that good because it's streaming on Roku, so it can't be that good. But,
2009
is a 2009 American biographical crime drama directed by Michael Mann, who
It's got mad niggas in it too. Yeah, it's got like fucking.
Yeah, he plays John Dillinger. There we go.
John Dillinger.
Okay.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Got Christian Bale, Jason.
I was getting
Clarke.
worried for a while because I literally thought I was confusing Fantastic Beasts with a mob movie because they're shot the same. Like they're both kind of gray. So I was like, am I really confusing a mob movie with Harry Potter right now? Or the Hogwarts universe?
But not even a Harry Potter film. You're talking about like the side spinoff. Like you literally just confused the two. That's amazing. You know what? Good for you. I hope the mob does go like Harry Potter-esque. Can you imagine? Yeah, you're an Italian Harry Potter. Like
you're a made man, Potter.
Yeah, that was good. That can't. Woo! You're an Italian Harry Potter. Oh shit! Oh, can you imagine? Oh.
Could you imagine instead of a wand, they just give him like a greasy comb?
give him like a sopressata. Like, here you go. Like, hey, I think that's a nice way to get inducted. That's just me, because the sopressata, either or, bro.
Oh my god! Now I have to know if Daniel Radcliffe is in a mob movie, because he probably is.
Well, he's in a neo-Nazi movie, so I'm sure he's pretty close to a mob movie somewhere. That was a good ass movie. That Imperium. Did you guys watch that?
Nobody watches as much TV as you.
Okay. But that was so good. No, that was like that was a really good movie. Imperium. He's a FBI agent that goes undercover into the neo-Nazi camp. And it's just like, it's one of those like really kind of crazy ones. It's a good film. Adam Driver's in it. I fucking love Adam Driver. I don't know why you don't. I think
because he's white. I have he's white, and I've heard people thirst after him, which makes me, he's just a reminder how mentally ill people are for real. Have I seen any of his films? Let me look it up. I don't think I've actually seen any Adam Driver movie because he's so heinous to look at that I just can't do it. But let's just see. Maybe I've seen him by accident.
I mean, he was in the later Star Wars films, the ones that came out recently.
I haven't seen a Star Wars film in a long time.
He was fucking awesome as Kylo Ren. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, even if he's a bitchy emo band, like he's still like he's fucking cool. No, he was in this movie that got released not so long ago on Netflix, White Noise. That was weird as fuck. He was in Marriage Story. I cried. The man has range. Okay, like you gotta just respect it. You know what? You guys can have Benedict Cumberbatch. Take him for all he's worth. We're keeping. Now we stand Adam Driver, Henry Cavill. Come back to Geralt of Rivia, please.
Don't put we on me. I'm not standing. He's not even in a movie that I would watch. Maybe I would watch House of Gucci.
Oh, he's ridiculous in that.
Oh my god, Jared Leto's in it too. No, I can't watch this. This is too much for me. Too much whiteness.
Very campy.
Also, it's at 3.6 on the reviews from Google. Wait, why are people leaving Google reviews about a movie? I didn't know that was a thing you could do.
Yeah, because Google reviews.
I was entirely unaware of. Is this a new feature from Google that you can just rate a movie?
No.
I just thought it was for restaurants and businesses. I did not know you could leave Google reviews for movies. I thought you had to like specifically go to Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb or whatever. I didn't know there was a Google feature for that now.
Of course. I mean, they're a huge media platform. I mean, literally, they're in people's phones all the time.
No,
so.
don't gaslight me and act like I'm crazy because I know you definitely did not know that.
I mean, well, Google has reviews for everything else, so
Bro, it's kind of natural. I don't know, man.
Okay, so I just looked up.
I mean, they could also
like,
just be
this is a weird feature because like
just collecting.
who is leaving Google reviews for Trading Places?
Me.
Got a 4.6, which is great, but Trading Places is like a 19. What year did this shit come out? 1983 movie with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. Like, who went back in time
What a
to
amazing
review that
movie.
on Google?
You know,
Every six
Everybody.
people apparently.
Because niggas got nothing to do.
you know what?
And that's a
It's-
funny movie.
You know, some people tattoo Dan Aykroyd on their skin. Some people watch him. Some people, you know.
I do have a Dan Aykroyd tattoo. Yes.
Thank you for admitting that you have a black person on your skin. And you have him doing blackface apparently. But
No. I do not have Dan Aykroyd doing blackface tattooed, although I thought about it. Because Trading Places is my favorite movie, and the one scene. Listen.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Dan Aykroyd pretended to be Jamaican. It's crazy.
It was a really tasteful
But it's also not
blackface. I'll
crazy.
say that. It was tasteful
Yeah,
blackface.
It was tasteful. It was tasteful.
he pretended to smoke a lot of joints and had shoe polish on his face. You thought that was like
That's wild.
Listen, no. Listen. Blackface is terrible. Blackface is terrible. But you have to give the scene the full context, okay? Because to be honest, for '83, it was kind of ahead of its time. All right. So for those who did not see Trading Places, it is a movie. I'm going to break down the whole synopsis of fucking Trading Places right now to defend the scene. All right. So first, let's clarify: does Dan Aykroyd do blackface in this movie? Yes, for a little bit. Is that tattooed on me? No, there's a totally different scene where he is not in blackface tattooed on me. Okay, so what happens in the
blackface? Just so we get that across, because
he is doing blackface. I will not deny this, but there is a point in the movie. Okay, so the movie is about, for those who, you know, spoiler alert, haven't seen this 1983 film. It's with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is a poor black man, and Dan Aykroyd is a rich Wall Street executive, right? Dan Aykroyd's bosses on Wall Street, you know, run into Eddie Murphy on the street, and they get into an argument, basically saying that, like, one guy's saying that, like, Eddie Murphy's only in his position because he's poor, and the other guy's like, no, he doesn't come from good blood. The other guy's violently racist. They're both racist, but the other guy's like violently racist. Like he's black, he's never going to be anything. So they make a bet, and the bet is that I bet if we put Eddie in a position of power and gave him a job, he would be able to do the job of our executives. And furthermore, if we took one of our executives and put him on the street, he would go just as insane as Eddie was when we met him. So they basically, you know, did make this clever ruse of switching places. They give Eddie a job. They spread a bunch of lies and slander and fire Dan Aykroyd. And then these guys, you know, eventually meet each other and they realize what's going on. And Eddie knows they're racist. So he's like, all right, well, they're clearly only doing this for the bet. So they're not going to keep me in this position. We got to fuck these guys over. So these guys are rich because they have insider investment tips that are being illegally transported to them. And they're trying to get these investment tips like off this guy, right? This guy's got a briefcase with all the insider stock information. So they have to steal it from this guy. As a ruse to steal it from the guy, they're on a train and they get in the same train as the guy with disguises, right? And Eddie comes in as this like African dude, and then Dan Aykroyd comes in as a Jamaican in blackface. However, let me get to it. The skit they play out is that they were two students from MIT that like met at MIT and hadn't seen each other since MIT. So he was not just playing he did have the Rasta beanie on and the fake dreads, but he was like, they were both politicking. You can look up the scene. They were both politicking about like rocket science to throw all the scent off each other.
More white people in that scene, and they played other white people. I'm just saying, they like literally David Lee Curtis saw that ahead of time and said, maybe not. I'll be a Swiss person.
Listen, I don't deny it was wrong, but for 1983, before I was born, they could have been jigabooed out.
No,
Eddie co-signed it. Eddie co-signed it, and that's what matters. Eddie co-signed it. We got to stand by it.
Did he co-sign it? Do we have him on record saying he co-signed?
Of course he co-signed it. The movie's he's hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's because they made money.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm very sure Eddie Murphy is a terrible person, probably like biblically worse than Dave Chappelle. But Eddie Murphy has the good sense to stay the fuck quiet.
Well, I mean,
Eddie Murphy has gone on record.
Eddie Murphy in the '80s was different. He was a different nigga. He was a different nigga.
He was, bro.
We know Eddie was terrible, and we know Eddie probably has not grown, but he has definitely gone on record like recently saying that like I'll never come outside because I don't want to be like shit on for my opinions. And he didn't say what those opinions were, but he said like I'm good. He did do a movie recently though with Jonah fucking Hill, which is like I'm so sick of Kenya Barris. I want to fight Kenya Barris with every bone in my body, bro.
I don't know Kenya Barris.
You didn't see this movie? It's the dumbest movie. The movie is basically I'm a white guy who's marrying a black guy or black woman, and I'm meeting her dad and her family, and they're black, and that's the movie. Like I'm so sick of fucking Kenya Barris. Like do something else, Negro. Like I'm sorry, but being black is super interesting. There's a lot to talk about. Like, but you already did Blackish, you did Grownish, you did fucking Mixed-ish, which nobody fucking watched. Like, please get off the shitty horse you're on. Like, make a fucking action film or something. Make a new Shaft. Like, if you're gonna stay in the black realm, don't be corny black. Like Kenya Barris, and I know Kenya Barris can't fight. That's what pains me the most. Like I know for a fact Kenya Barris can't fight.
Why are you going this hard? You don't need to do that.
Damn, bro.
Because what every black person needs is it's just nice to have a movie about being black that isn't about being black. Like that movie Dope. Remember that movie? It was like A$AP Rocky was in it. Like it was just about a kid from South Central. It was like people love that movie because it was just like and I saw like a TikTok about it like within the last like month or two. People were like it was just a nice to be like a coming of age film that wasn't like centered around black trauma.
But it
was about the black experience, but like not, but in a way that wasn't cheesy like Kenya Barris does it. Like Kenya Barris does movies. Again, Kenya Barris makes shit for white people that is about being black. Blackish is for white people.
Wow.
This is a common pattern of you shitting on other black men that are successful. So I beg to think that perhaps.
Okay, first of all, I mean, let's back it up. Let's back it up. I'm gonna shit on any stupid nigga, and that's still better than the white genocide I beg for on every episode. This is a white genocide podcast.
I love it. You know, I encourage it.
How long have we been recording? I don't know why like the time never pops up. Am I just fucking stupid?
It's been an hour. You know what? It's I don't know, man. It is a weird night. I don't know. It is. What are you guys doing? I got nothing. My kid's birthday's coming up this week. I'm like old thinking about that. Bro, I got a 6-year-old and now a 2-year-old on Sunday. I kept them alive. Yo, that's an accomplishment. So
shout out to you, bro.
Shout out to me because I kept them alive and they're healthy. They're not even bad kids. You know, it's a realization, bro. Sometimes you get humble. Life humbles you, and you go, "Oh, yeah, I'm not."
So you're just you're gonna end this podcast on your kid's birthday when you started it with our mother's whores.
Because
it comes back full circle.
Kids, once you guys get old enough and you download the podcast, I am throwing your mom. I am throwing her back out. I am doing terrible things. We're having a good time. Sorry, kids.
I mean, I'm positive they probably know that already. Your rooms are not far apart,
and we have a noisy.
The walls in your house are very thin.
They just
walls in your house are very thin.
They don't know what it means yet.
I didn't realize that. I don't think they are. I can hear you.
Do I have thin walls?
I can hear every footstep in your house, and
I don't even
have great hearing.
Yeah, you can hear footsteps, but I don't think you can hear like certain things. We know how to muffle shit. You know, we know how to be, you know.
We put precautions in place.
We've had to, bro. You know, you have family over for a little too long, and then you know
Wow.
you got, come on, bro. Like, what are you gonna like skip? Like, nah, you get a little horny. You see, you know, you're gonna throw it out.
Wow.
So you muffle shit. You put on rain sounds. Shout out to those dudes. Shout out to those dudes, the YouTube dudes.
Amen.
That are throwing up the free rain sounds for like 24 hours or live videos, because really you guys are the MVPs of the world, because I'm probably giving you guys billions in ad revenue, but no,
You know what's
I'm
crazy?
Not. I got premium.
I sleep to rain sounds. I've never had sex to them.
Oh, it's nice because we actually, this is cheesy. Our first apartment together, we had an awning right outside of our window, so every time it rained, it just felt like a cozy thing. So we would always end up like, you know, hooking up in it, and I think it's just something we relax to as well. So I don't know, it's nice.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So just clapping your wife in the jungle in the rainforest of Brazil. Do you throw the occasional monkey noise in there as well?
That's him.
You know I do. I put in a kookaburra sound.
Become aware of sex now that we're talking about your kids hearing you fuck. Like, when did you become aware of like what sex was?
I gotta say it's the weirdest thing, because I kind of remember a little bit, but it's like, you know, such a like a faded memory at this point. I think I was like 12 or 13. And all of a sudden, like, something told me to like move my penis around, and then something happened, and I was like, "What is this?" And I think that excitement ever since then has pulled me into the dirty, disgusting world that we exist in. So yeah,
Wow.
that's the oldest memory I have. I think
5. I was 5.
5. I was old,
Oh, yeah.
figuring it out.
You gotta get
for
some
sure.
context, because this could be traumatic. To 5 sounds crazy.
I gotta give context.
You saw your mom and
don't want
dad.
to.
That's what he said.
I mean,
that's what he said. Oh yeah, you know what? You know,
no.
we'll pass it.
I mean, I've just always known, like,
that's why
I just
Joey's
remember
who he is.
I just remember
He's
like
horny.
knowing, just knowing
Horny at birth,
for, like, like understanding,
instead of like, you know,
like there's a thing when, I guess because when I was a kid, my parents, like, they wouldn't shield me when it came to like watching movies and shit. They wouldn't shield me from shit. They'd be like, "Yo,
my
we're gonna
parents
watch
didn't
this,"
either.
and they'd be like, "Yo, cover your eyes."
Don't look right
but
now.
like, but like,
all right.
it was sometimes it was like, "Oh, it's too late." Like they were like, "Oh, you should cover your eyes." So it's like I understood what was happening for a long time.
Okay, I get you.
Since I was young.
Yeah, I feel like, but I think I felt like aware of what it was at that point. But you know, no, you're, yeah. I guess that.
So
kind of
5 years old, your mom like just brought you in while she was watching the Titanic on VHS. Like, now look at those windows steam up, kid. This is what's in your future. And she's just shaking you.
Titanic came out in 1997 when I was 7. I know that because my mom took me to the movies to see Titanic. And I missed the sex scene in Titanic because I had too much gummy bears, chocolate, and soda, and I threw up.
Oh, that's ass, bro.
But
ruined
I'm
that for your
glad that
mom?
Titanic was long enough.
You
She
ruined the
didn't- she
James
didn't care.
Cameron masterpiece for your mom?
I don't think she cared.
Shout out to James Cameron. Apparently,
There was
Avatar
still so much
2,
more movie to go after that because Titanic was fucking long.
like 3 hours.
I also watched Titanic with my mom, which was weird. We watched it. I got it from Blockbuster, and during that
That's mad
scene, she
weird.
was like,
We all
"Close your
did.
eyes," and I was
We
just
all
like,
did. I watched it with my mom too.
"You know what's weird? I,
watched
didn't
it-
watch anything else with my mom. Like, me and my mom had no quality time. I don't know why that was the movie that she was like, Ew, Papa Squat
watched
in
it.
the living room."
My mom was semi irresponsible with me. I watched like The Exorcist really early on. I was like 5. Or, I was
My
watching.
parents-
I was
my mom was big
watching
into scary
everything that you could imagine. What is that? Basic Instinct, where Kim Basinger just like shows her like pussy like for like a second. Like I remember like vividly in the movie theater, my mom just like freaking going, "Oh shit! Just don't watch." I was like, "You didn't know this was gonna happen, ma'am? You didn't see
You saw this. There was lots of
trailer?
context setting this up, Ma. Come
I
on.
think there was a buzz about it, Mom.
Kim Basinger's bad.
Yeah.
So wait, what was like the first sexual movie you saw? I'm trying to think now. I think Titanic might have been my first like sexy movie.
Basic Instinct, definitely. I remember that being
Oh,
like,
damn, I'm not really sure. I know when I was really young, I'd seen a lot of movies that involved rape.
whoa, the R.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that was a thing.
You know, that's that was such a common thing to like just throw in movies for some reason. Like I remember like my wife was like, "Oh, you have to watch this movie. Like it's so like, you know, it's so I guess gripping, you know, it's a drama and like, you know, it is a home invasion story. You know, essentially the daughter gets, you know, happens to gets assaulted in that whole thing. And I remember my wife says this, and my son is watching it, and I guess he just becomes sentient at that moment because he felt the terror and the mom like freaking out and started hysterically crying. He was like, not okay. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, we should not be watching this. We should not be watching this. This is not appropriate.
Yeah.
So I don't know how my mom let me watch The Exorcist. Because watching somebody fuck themselves with a crucifix is wild. Just gonna say.
I was into that.
I still have never seen The
I was hype
Exorcist.
about it.
Bro, come on.
It's really
I don't like
creepy.
horror
It's
movies.
fun. Okay. Well, yeah, then you won't enjoy that shit.
No, you
That
really
shit
won't.
is
It still
really
holds up. Still holds up.
scary, especially if you get into the mythology and all that shit, and then you try to watch like the sequels and the prequels to The Exorcist. Those shits get really fucking nuts.
Yeah, they're weird. And then the reality of what happened behind the scenes with everybody, there was a lot of death. The director died. Blake Lively, like she never, is that her name? I don't remember. Blake something. Her back like never recovered from that whole, jumping up and down scene with the fucking bed. So yeah,
is that like real, like a thing, like mythology, or is that like dial-up days?
No, this was real.
All
Like
of those
rumors.
things occurred.
These are actually documented things, like about the fact that she has like terrible back problems. The director died in a very kind of fucked up way, and
deaths.
There was quite a lot of things attached to it, and that's what makes the movie even that kind of more fucked up, because you realize like there's a certain amount of practical that they had to implement into a world that obviously we live in the practical world, but like adding those elements to give it. These I don't know how to say it, but they look demonic, they look fantastical, they looked otherworldly, and for it being what, like the 70s, like that's kind of crazy. So they did it pretty fucking cool. Pazuzu, that shit was wild. That shit was scary. Bro.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Pazuzu? It was a Pazuzu. I don't know.
Yeah, Pazuzu. Yeah.
I don't know what I think about horror movies. I'm too delicate for those.
I think this is a good ending for us today. I watch The Exorcist.
Linda Blair.
Linda Blair, that's her name. My bad. Blake Lively, somebody completely different.
Yeah.
Linda Blair. Yeah, it's a fucked up one. It has been a weird episode. It's a good one. We're filled with lots of with love, and I don't know where we went. It's been a good time. It started off hot, and it is still hot. So how did we do this? I don't know. I'm here. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm floating in the ether. It's we drop episodes every Thursday, probably in the morning. Like I always try to do it 5 a.m. on the East Coast. So if it pops up earlier, good for you. And I love you. I thank you. Because you guys are still commenting. People are like literally like just talking to us at this point, which is great. I'm glad for all the new listeners that have popped in through the videos that our grateful host Sasha has been making. They've been engaging. They've been getting you guys in. They get you guys to comment and say silly things, and we love it. We're all there for it. We want you to get stoned. We want you to drink. We want you to have fun. Don't do it at 5 a.m. if you're driving. If you work from home, do it, because. Who's gonna tell you no? Not me.
Yes, and follow the podcast at White Genocide Podcast, at National Meat Treasure on TikTok and IG, and at NMT Pod on Facebook. Follow me at thin.cruel.lips on IG and TikTok. And do I have anything else going on? I got an OnlyFans. That's donate or just cash at me. Honestly, just
What is your OnlyFans? What's your name on OnlyFans?
Thin.cruel.lips, baby. We're staying on brand.
Oh shit. Okay.
And add TROPJ for Cash App because your boy is poor.
Well, he also has to pay for that strap upgrade because he did.
Yeah.
Just
I
tell
have to
us.
pay for all the various sizes because I feel like my butthole's real loose. So if I get like a good weekend in, I'm already gonna have to size up. You know, I already shit like 3 times a day. I'm very regular, so
That's great. I'm glad. I'm happy for you.
lots of fiber, dog.
Good for you.
Wow. And you can follow me at Saint Thrillah on Instagram and TikTok. And I want to shout out my bro Matt Milano. I told him I'd shout him out on the pod because he loves our pod.
Hey.
He told me to tell Christian and Sasha, they're hilarious. I love them. He's my bro from work. Also shout out my bro Tyrone Briggs. He also is amazed and he loves our podcast. He was like, yo, that nigga Sasha's hilarious, which makes sense because y'all are very alike. Because y'all are
Except
both
that
psychopaths.
he's verified and I'm not, so clearly he's doing better in life than me.
Well, he's a rapper. He got bars. I feel like you could have bars too, and I got the beats for him, so you just let me know. Go check out, in all honesty, 303 Bam's latest album. 303 Bam's latest album. No, sorry, got a little...
I got cotton mouth somewhere.
Stuck up there, yeah.
Hello,
my
cotton
mouth's
mouth.
not fucking dry. Check out our latest album. It's fucking dope. We got videos coming out for it. We got a video out for it. We got other shit like that. Suck my dick. I love you.
All right. The streets are hot and
The streets are hot.
Never sleep. I don't know. Whatever Serpico said.
Man, I'm on this 303 baby timing, man. Hey, yo, Thrillah, man, what we doing, gang? Hunters coming and make sure that paper going all around.